Our top story now, the school shooting in Florida. Some of Silicon Valley's biggest names are being forced to confront issues around the gun control debate. Let's talk through some of those with Shelly Palmer, CEO of the Palmer Group. Shelly, thanks so much for being here.
My pleasure.
You listened to a lot of what we were just talking about. There's been a lot of criticism leveled at tech companies for not doing more, not only about providing a platform to some of these, disturbed individuals, but also for cracking down on some of the conspiracies that have been targeting some of the students. Is that criticism fair?
Look, all criticism right now is fair. Let's be serious. There are dead children, and you can criticize everybody because we're all at fault. The system is at fault. The platforms, everything is at fault. But if you look critically at what's going on, you have to make a choice. We used to have telephones. They were brand new. Before that, we had letters. So the telephone let me get transcon in 2 seconds as opposed to waiting a month. Now we've got a platform that allows us to communicate with each other instantly with words, with pictures, and we all know what they are. We just don't know how to use them right. And so when the Arab Spring happened, we said this is a social media revolution, and the platforms became a way people communicate. So for every bad thing that you can point to from a tech platform perspective, these students' voices in Florida have been amplified by the same platforms. And with their ideas, they've been able to reach a much wider audience much more quickly than ever before. So yes, there's all kinds of bad and there's all kinds of good. Could a tech company police better? That's a policy issue that when you take a more studied, more sober look at it, where does censorship start? Where do your rights start?
It's a conversation we have to have as a society about what we find acceptable and not, and what we want to do about it on the front end. Shelly, this is an issue that everyone is talking about, no matter where they are.
That's right.
And I know a lot of people in the private sector. I know you've reached out to a lot of your clients, to other, people in the business world, to say, what can we do about this? How can we solve it? It seems like Parkland, finally, people are saying, we can't leave it to somebody else. All of us have to get involved in this dialogue. What are you hearing from them?
Well, look, we went far and wide because I was just outraged like every other parent, like every other human being. I'm part of a group called the Gun Safety Alliance, and that's a group of business professionals and marketers and tech people who are trying to use the platforms that you've just described for good. America has a majority that are reasonable people who believe there's a middle ground, and we think that with the right facts, with actual facts, and with a rational conversation where you listen to both sides, that we could actually reach a consensus on things like sensible gun laws. Now, that's a loaded, kind of crazy idea, a sensible gun law, pardon the pun, but we have to find it, right? And the fact that the extremes on both sides say it'll never happen doesn't mean that it's not possible. There are people in America, we know the vast majority, believe that we should have sensible, now whether it's regulation, registration, or just good, solid Second Amendment rights that are well regulated.
We need more voices in it because clearly we're losing the information war. If everybody wants it to change and it doesn't because it's held captive by people at the very extremes, something's going wrong.
So I would argue that we're not vocal enough. I would say that while you could indict the platforms for being non-censored and use the platform the way you see fit. If you've got something to say, it doesn't matter what it is you have to say. These platforms empower you to say it. If you're honest and passionate about your point of view, that open dialogue and the willingness to listen, that's what these platforms empower, and that's what people should do. Letting one side drown out the other is not the answer.
Should companies take an ethical stance and refuse to do business with anyone who doesn't support gun control? Republican donors are talking about pulling their funding, finally, some of them, because they feel like they're not being heard or the debate's not moving on. Companies have done it when it comes to LGBT rights. Should guns fall into that category?
I personally believe, and this is me speaking just personally, you have to do what your moral compass tells you to do. So if you believe that pulling your funding is going to make a difference, then you should pull your funding. And if you ask me, should someone, fight with their wallets? America is about money, and America is about politics, and America is about a voice. You've got a voice, use it on the platform. You've got money, use it for what you believe, and the rest of it will take care of itself. That's what our democracy should be. I have a lot of people who are pro Second Amendment, who are also incredibly pro being safe.
Yeah.
And honestly, Maggie, we can't have our children running for their lives.
Yeah. It's not an oxymoron, and that is a part that has to come up in this debate, which is what I just said to David. No one's talking about taking away the Second Amendment, but it has been lost in all the shouting.
Yeah.
Shall I come back again? Tell us what the Alliance is doing, some hard proposals they're coming up with. It needs to be part of the debate, and CNN is going to stay on this until we make some progress.
Find us on Facebook, Gun Safety Alliance.
Shelly Palmer, thank you so much. Appreciate it.